Welcome back to pregame.tv. Sunday NBA action. We're in the final days of the regular season. All the playoff spots are set, except one. We'll talk about that in the next video. But what we're left with, jockeying for position. This is one of the games where it might not, we're taping on Friday, and both these teams play on Friday night, so, could work out that might not have as much meaning as we think it'll be. But we've got Indiana and New York. These are the two teams right now. New York's the number 2 seed. Indiana's the number 3 seed. We know the Knicks just had the 13-game winning streak snapped last night by the Chicago Bulls. What do you take of these two teams heading down the stretch?
I think the Knicks, I've been a Knicks fan for, over 4 decades now. It's unreal. I'm fortunate. I was one of those guys that was old enough to see them win in '73 and a little kid in '69. So I feel bad for the
4 decades. This guy looks like he should be at the beach with a surfboard. I don't know how he does it.
Well, hey, what?
I want the secret when we get off the air.
It's 2013. We get away with more stuff now. But, it is frustrating being a Knicks fan. During the Ewing era, Marco, so many chances right there. Unfortunately, it was the Jordan era as well. So, for Knicks fans, it's been frustrating. This team is better than I thought they were going to be. I thought they would be a team that would finish maybe 10, 12 games over 500, that would battle for their conference, or for their division, I should say. They won the division handily. And, a tough matchup in the first round, possibly, just depending on who they play. But as long as they can avoid Miami till the final round. But I think they're not intimidated by the Heat. They've beaten them 3 out of 4. And I know one of the games Miami didn't have anybody playing and they were banged up. But Carmelo's a guy that he rises to the occasion. J.R. Smith, another guy, rises to the occasion. They've got players, Marco. There's no doubt. Indiana, on the other hand, they play defense. And so the Knicks, while they'll try and outscore people, and it's Carmelo 36 or more over the last several games, they could be feast and famine, and we saw famine in the fourth quarter against the Bulls the other night, a game that they should have taken care of that big lead, but they did not. And we also saw that against Miami when they had a 14-point lead in the last meeting that they ended up losing.
Well, you hit the nail on it. I think, J.R. Smith's had probably his best year. I like the way he's playing. Carmelo Anthony, I said it early on this season. I think the thing that changed, Carmelo's always been a good player. There's no question about that, but he's taken his game to another level this year, and I think really it had a lot to do with playing in the Olympics. Really, with the team, the way he played last year, learned to play, you're playing with all the superstars, and then, playing team basketball and philosophy, I think it made him better. And, there's no question, look at the results this year. But the one thing that I don't like about the Knicks, they can score points and Carmelo can go off. I still don't like this team defensively. They just have too many lapses on the defensive end. And even when I was watching the game last night, and I only watched into the third quarter, early into the third, and then I went out to dinner last night. But when I'm watching the game, there's too many times where they give up just easy buckets, that you have those breakdowns, and that is a team that, when you get into the playoffs, you got to score points, but you can't be offense first. You got to get back on defense. You can't give up those easy buckets, and that was what concerns me with this team. Now, when you face an Indiana Pacer team, definitely you're looking at a team that, they play hard-nosed defense. I think Indiana, to me, if these teams play, and I don't care if it's at home, away, a 7-game series, I think Indiana can beat this team in a 7-game series, no matter who has home court advantage, if they meet up.
I agree with you, because Indiana is a team that collectively hits the glass. The Knicks rely too much on Chandler. With Stoudemire being out, sure, Carmelo has free reign to do more offensively, so the numbers look good, but without the ball going into the paint much at all. And then, let's face it, J.R. Smith and Anthony have been shooting lights out. And so, again, the Knicks got that big winning streak, but how long will those shooting percentages stay, especially in the playoffs when defenses clamp down a little bit more?
Yeah, and, you talk about that winning streak, and, great, it was 13-game winning streak, but they did have some soft spots in that schedule. And then when they did face the good teams, like the Oklahoma Cities and stuff, they faced teams that like to play up tempo too. And I think the Knicks are better when they can dictate the tempo.
That's a good matchup for the Knicks, Oklahoma City, a team like that. And that's why they're not intimidated with Miami when Miami Miami has everybody and likes to run it. That's a good pace for New York. But Indiana, like you said, they play defense. They crash the boards. They're the best defensive team in the NBA, I think, and that is a team that will give New York a lot of trouble.
All right, well, this is my free pick, so let's make it official. All right, guys, that's the key to this game, and it's defense. Indiana dictates the tempo. They'll slow the game down. They'll make the Knicks have to play a half-court game on several of their possessions, and that's not the Knicks basketball. They like to move. They like to get the ball, passing it around in transition, and get Carmelo for those open looks. Also, the Knicks, they played on Thursday night, big game. They had this streak going. It takes a lot out of you. Look at Miami after the streak was over. It was almost like a relief to them, and then they started resting players, and it wasn't important anymore. I know this number 2 seed is still on the line here, but the Knicks pretty much have it locked up. They have to probably lose out not to hold on to the number 2 seed. But what I am looking at from a handicapping standpoint, with that streak and the energy that they've been using to try to keep that winning streak going, this will be their 3rd game in 4 days. And I say days, not nights. And the reason I say that is because they played on Thursday night, they played on Friday night, then they're coming back and playing on Sunday, but it's not your normal night game. They're playing a 3:30 afternoon game, so even less recovery time for the Knicks. And when you're playing a team that plays hard-nosed defense like Indiana, it takes more energy to play defense than it does to play offense. This is going to frustrate the Knicks with the pace of this game. I'm going to take Indiana. They're going to be an underdog in this game. I have them pulling off the upset in New York. We're going to take Indiana plus the points on Sunday, and I got them winning the game outright, and that's my free pick. We're going to be right back, though. We've got one more NBA pick for you. Ken's going to give you the play on San Antonio and the L.A. Lakers. A little bit of an important game for the L.A. Lakers. We'll find out who Ken likes up next here on pregame.tv.